3 years, 3,000 miles, 3 marathons, and 500 hours spent pounding my feet. Was it worth it? Hell yeah, it was.
And if you want to know how to not only start running, but build it as a habit that will last, then this video is for you.
Running has reshaped my life, and it might be able to reshape yours too.
But if you're anything like me, running is a habit which you've tried to build many times, most of which have been unsuccessful.
First off, you're not alone. Running is a difficult habit to build into your daily life. It certainly wasn't easy for me at the start, but there were 5 key things which helped me not just start running, but still be running 3 years later. I'll have timestamps to each of these tips down below if you want to skip to them, but let's start off with some context first.
In 2023, I'd hit a low physically. I'd gained 40 pounds over the 2 previous years, and it wasn't stopping.
I'd started working a desk job, and I really took time to take care of myself physically. And while my physical state wasn't impacting my daily life yet, I knew if I continued with the same habits, it'd only get worse. Then one day in 2023, I decided to go for a run. And the 5 key items that I'll be sharing are what converted that beginning of a habit into thousands of future miles and a love for the sport. So let's get into tip number 1. First, don't care if you're running or walking. Running is hard. And when I started, I couldn't run for a full mile without taking some time to walk throughout. And I learned to be okay with that. Instead of saying I needed to go run 4 miles, I just gave myself an hour to be outside moving, and I'd go as far as I could with a combination of running and walking. When it comes to running as a habit, understand that it's about consistency, not intensity. It's really easy to go too hard when starting this hobby, but that can quickly lead you to injury, and that's the easiest way to kill your momentum. The second tip, don't run every day, run every other day instead. This can change as you get deeper into the hobby, but again, we want to focus in on not burning out. Having a rest day after every run is a beautiful thing, and it helped me not dread getting out the door. My legs needed the time to recover between runs at the start, and that was okay. So I built rest days into my schedule, and this helped me also remove the excuse of, I'm too tired to run, since I always had the time to recover. Once my legs had built up more strength, I started running up to 5 times a week, but that came much later down the line. This third tip was probably the hardest for me to mentally accept, and that is removing the weather excuse. If you find yourself saying, I can't go out, it's too cold, it's too hot, it's raining, it's snowing, by saying those things, you're eliminating a huge portion of the year of running days, not to mention the inconsistency that invites into your habit building. My running journey changed dramatically when I stopped caring what weather it was. If it was 105 degrees outside, I ran slower and I drank a lot of water. If I was cold, I put on a hoodie and I warmed up as I ran. If it was raining, I was just grateful the skin was waterproof. It's not comfortable to remove these excuses, but it is a game changer for your consistency. This next tip is all about saving money. When you start running, it's really easy to spend way too much money on the fanciest running shoes, the best smartwatches, or clothes from the top running brands. However, one of my favorite things about running is how cheap it can be. Thrift stores always have clothes that are good enough for running, and I still consistently wear jackets that were purchased from thrift stores. When it comes to shoes, it is important to get a decent pair. But if you look for sales on previous year's models of shoes, then you can typically get a good pair for around $70. And a good pair of training shoes can last you for 500 plus miles of running. It wasn't until last year that I actually started paying up for nicer running gear. For the first 2 years of the hobby, the only item that I spent meaningful money on was shoes. Now that I'm deeper in the hobby, I know better what I want, and I'm still budget conscious, but willing to pay up for the items that make the most difference for me. The last tip I'll leave you with is if you're not a morning person, don't try and run in the morning. One pitfall that I ran into several times when I started running was trying to do it in the morning before work. I am not a morning person, and I'd consistently fail to get myself to run that early. And then I'd feel like I'd failed and wouldn't run that day, would try again the next morning and fail again. I just needed to make running fit into my time, where I knew that I'd have the willpower to do it consistently. So for me, that was the afternoons right after work. This came with some repercussions in the fact that I'd be running at one of the hardest times of the day during the summer, and in the winter, I'd often be running at sunset or even in the dark. It also meant that I was having to take 2 showers on days that I ran. But I just decided that I was okay with that, since late afternoons were the time that I knew I'd have the mental energy to get myself out the door and run. So as you build your running schedule, put it at a time when you'll be most likely to actually execute on your goal. While that time was the late afternoons for me, that time will be different for every person. So figure out what it is for you. So those are my 5 best beginner runner tips. Don't care if you're running or walking, don't run every day, remove the weather excuse, take advantage of sales and thrift stores, and make it work with your time. Running is such an incredible habit, hobby, and sport. It improves your health mentally and physically, and while it's hard, it's also incredibly rewarding. I seriously couldn't recommend it enough. So for all of you who stuck through this video to the end, I wish you the best of luck at building running into your daily life. And if you enjoyed the video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Good luck, my friends. Peace.
2 years ago, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually so addicted to running now that I voluntarily chose to wake up at 4:30 a.m. to go run a marathon by myself. What the fuck is wrong with me?